we're joined here with Bob Schulz, and it's good to have you here, Bob, for the Boston Tea Party '08.
Great to be with you. Great to be back in Boston.
All right.
Yeah.
We just had Lynn Landis here, and I wasn't even aware of this, but you two were collaborating a little bit on. Lynn has done a lot on that transparent vote count, and it was interesting. I didn't know that you guys had collaborated a little bit on the last election with this transparent vote count.
One of the things we're going to do now is we're going to have the people in all 50 states choose 3 envoys to a national continental Congress.
How are you going to choose?
The people in the states are going to choose them.
And what form? I mean, how will you?
They will all, nominations will come in. We'll say, look, we need people who are...
Into where, though?
The nominations will come from the people, and they'll be put on those state pages, and they'll vote for them, and the top 3 vote getters. But we'll make sure...
On the ballots?
No, on the state pages through our website.
Through We the People?
Through the Congress web pages.
Okay.
So we'll say, look, we need people who are familiar with the way the system is designed to work, and who are known to have confronted.
Yeah, but how do you enforce that? What legal force do you have? I mean, it's a nice. We had a big celebration out in Minneapolis. There were 500 representatives from the people came together, and it was powerful.
But how do you enforce? How do you enforce what?
Well,
what legal? I didn't understand your question.
Well, these issues that you want to bring up and want to have addressed, the legal force behind it to impose to
force
import
it.
them.
To force it. What legal force?
Well, I mean, they say no. We don't want to listen to it.
Well, if there's 5 million people who are putting their foot down and taking the same action, you know what it's like. Think back to say 1774.
Mm-hmm.
You had 13 colonies, and they had repeatedly petitioned for redress of grievances.
Okay, I know.
Okay, and their repeated injuries were answered only with repeated.
Exactly.
I mean, their repeated petitions were answered only with repeated injuries, and so they came together.
Well, they already were together. The colonial assemblies were the ones. Now, granted, they had a royal governor, and that was appointed by the king, but the assembly was from the people. That was the legitimate government at the time.
Right.
They were the ones that sent those first Continental Congress.
Right. Yeah.
But it was part of the established government. It wasn't a private group.
You had colonial legislatures in place for 150 years.
Yeah.
That was the government.
Yeah.
That's how they ruled.
Yes.
And so there were colonial legislatures. Okay?
But that was our government.
Yes, I understand.
It wasn't a private organization
that
was sending,
but
it's not recognized by all of the people.
But the government it wasn't an independent government. This was not an independent nation. It was all part of Great Britain. It was all part of England. And
when the royal governors left, most of them left because the people,
But
anyway, what would happen?
But the point is,
that they were sanctioned by our government, our colonial assembly.
Well,
that was our structure of our government.
But look at it this way: the people in those 13 colonies sent representatives to Philadelphia.
Yes.
Okay, and they met.
But
they had no idea. But they had no idea. They were sent there to talk about the problems of the day and what to do about it. They did not go there to declare independence. That was not...
Right, I know that.
Adams may have had it on his mind.
Sam and John Adams, because they had just experienced, Boston, Lexington and Concord and Bunker Hill.
But the people that...
Philadelphia wasn't on board. They wanted to still make peace with them.
I understand, Walter.
Olive Branch.
But big picture.
Right.
people came from all 13 colonies.
Right.
Not to declare their independence,
Right.
but to talk about the problems and
they
what
were
to do
gonna
about it. And we
Right.
wouldn't know what happened in the hall except for the local reporters who were there writing, taking notes.
Had the windows
okay?
open.
Right. So, but the point is they went there and they decided what to do about it. And of course, they were communicating back to the people in their
Right.
colonies.
Right.
So it's the same.
Yeah.
And as they said,
It's similar, but they were doing it through the colonial assembly it was elected. They were elected officials. They were representing the people. It wasn't a private organization, at the time. That's why what we want to do with our group, the Committees of Safety, we're going to exhaust that. We're going to give that
and we're a free people.
the state
Right.
legislators. I think we've had some real success on the state level. 10th Amendment resolutions. We stopped at the Constitutional Convention in Philadelphia with a handful. Well, good luck to you. All right, thanks.
Okay, Walt.
Thanks for coming to the Boston Tea Party event.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for the invite.
All right.